So I think you're right, and I think everybody is taking deep breath after the events of this week, and the events on Capitol Hill, and saying this is now the opportunity for the United States to recalibrate its relationship with the rest of the world. Is it a global policeman? Is it going to resume its role, promoting NATO, promoting rejoining the Paris Climate Accord? These are all incredibly important things. EU relations for the US are going to be very important, particularly around the sustainability agenda. So these are all things that are incredibly important, but surely Biden's main commitment at the beginning of his administration has to be to reunite America, to restore America's trust in itself after the events of the last week. Surely that has to be the biggest thing on his agenda at the moment, or is there something in the foreign policy domain as well?
Well, there is something in the foreign policy domain, but I'll come to that in a second, because I agree with you 100%. Repairing what is an increasingly divided and hurting nation has to be a priority. I mean, I think the whole world watched the events in the Capitol building with shock. I mean, I don't think, regardless of the sentiment that had been sort of whipped up by Donald Trump and his administration, I don't think anybody really truly predicted that. Not anything so brazen. Although the situation was rectified, the response to it has been one of concern, particularly from the sort of Black Lives Matter protests. There was that shocking contrast between how the steps of the Capitol building were, it was the Lincoln Memorial, were protected with the National Guard, these intimidating looking troops standing on the steps, versus how the Capitol building was actually protected, with flimsy barriers. So people are calling into question this almost hypocrisy about how the fight for equal rights for people of all ethnic backgrounds has actually been treated with more of a heavy hand than people who are actually trying to undermine a legitimate democratic process. And I think it exposes the fact that there are still these deep divisions, often along racial lines, in the United States. And Biden is still going to have that at the top of his agenda before America can start thinking about reaching out to allies. It has to be a priority for him.